Democratic Party. It's a national party that actually recognizes the fact that power belongs to the people, if you see that in our payoff. And it's one party that has proven its track record of success in the history of this country by devolving power, especially in the business community. Today, if we're enjoying the privileges in the telecommunication industry, if you know what it used to be, it is a party that brought about this by opening up the economy for organized private sector to play. And you would have seen in the man flying our national flag, it goes about preaching economic recovery and also preaching devolution of power. So which means this party believes in the people and it believes power is to the people. Everybody would have seen in the nomination of my deputy a radical departure from the stereotype norm. When you speak of popular governors in Nigeria today, nobody knows their deputy. But for us, we've been able to break that by ensuring that my deputy happens to be an household name. Not just that, she's a successful entrepreneur, and she's done well, you know, in her chosen career. She read law, but she found passion in filmmaking. In this economy that we're trying to run, she's somebody who has invested a whole lot in this economy, somebody who has been an employer of labor, you know, giving opportunity to young Lagosians. I mean, just like myself. So in doing that, aside the fact that we're a party that is very sensitive to gender, I'm sure you have seen that. Funke Akedele is my deputy. She read law at the University of Lagos. And we believe that a deputy governor should be as good as the governor. So what is it that we are coming to do? We are coming to run an economy of Lagos. We are coming to ensure that that wealth of Lagos work for the people of Lagos. And what we need is a good manager with a track record of success. And that is one of the reasons why I've chosen my deputy. Thank you. So for us, we're running a government that is going to ensure that the rights of the vulnerables in the society is looked into. We're going to ensure that we protect them. So for that reason, in our own manifesto, we are creating two ministries to what we have now. Ministry for Children's Affairs and People with Disability. People with disability in the sense that we now have to ensure they feel part of this particular society. And as a governor of Lagos State, I'm not going to give approval to any building that refuses to accommodate access, you know, for the people with disability. And they're also going to be part of this whole. For Children Affairs, we're also, because we have to give them special attention to make sure that we have their government taking a very good care of them from the cradle, their health, their education, and the likes. Everywhere I go to, or my campaign trail, especially the grassroots, I usually say this to them. It's part of everything that I say every time. I say to them that, look, don't tell me I'm the one that pays my wife down, and because of that you hit your wife or you beat your wife. As governor of Lagos State, you have me to contend with. So that is already out there because I preach it in the language they understand. So that's one other thing that we're doing. We've talked about police brutality. Yes, of course, there are things that we might feel we don't have control over. What about the one we can quickly do to ensure a replica of such an unfortunate incident? Let me use Bolanle Rahim incident. Of course, Bolanle Rahim was shot and he was taken to 3 hospitals in Etiosa, and she was rejected in those 3 hospitals. What I would have done differently as governor of Lagos State is to sanction that 3 hospitals for rejecting Bolanle's body, Bolanle's gunshot wound, and I will be using that to send a message to other hospitals across the state. Should in case we have a replica of such an unfortunate incident, they will know they have to take it because there is a law which says you must treat a gunshot wound person. Lagos is one of the sinking cities in the world, so we already know our peculiarities. But you see, resolving our problem should be a proper planning and preparation to it because we don't have any solution to it. Unfortunately, this government 24 years ago inherited just 6 major water collectors in Lagos. Odo Yalaro, Shomolu Batiga, Yaba to Unilag, and Aguda Surulere. And by now, they're building the 7th one in Luberin now, about 1.2 kilometers, but it's not done. But now we should be talking about at least 20 water collectors in Lagos and preparing for the rainy season like what we are doing. The moment I'm announced the winner of the election in March, I will use this last 100 days in office to start my own work because I'm resuming in May. So what would be is that I will engage all, of course I'm resuming in May, I will engage all, anybody that want government patronage in environmental sanitation and volunteers to say, you know what, we can start assisting now by desilting all our water collectors as volunteers. Pending when we come into office, then we embark on rigorously. So solution to this is preparing for it. Just like in winter, everybody knows winter is coming. You need to change whatever you need to change and preparing for that because we don't have solution to this because of the peculiarity of our state. Now, if we then begin to now embark on aggressive construction of additional water collectors in the state of Lagos, because we know the state of our state. When you mentioned FAC the other time, at the state level, it is what they call JAC, which is joint account, joint allocation account between the state and the local government level. So the 300 million naira you mentioned is what they are given from that JAC, because the money paid, you know, in a joint account which they've created. Now, and with that, you see, if you want to decentralize development, just like what we have now, everybody's coming to the center. If local government works, you see people staying where they are to do their business and to do whatever it is they want to do. But what to do in giving that name autonomy, even if you don't even want to let go the jack of a thing, because for me, as the governor of the state, I would look at, because I've had privilege to go everywhere and I've seen that local government roads are in terrible shape. If they get 300 million shared among 3 local governments, LCDA 2 on 1 local government, as the case may be, in another case 6. So in this case, there is nothing happening after payment of salary. Everything that's the center. Taxes that is supposed to be collecting is already harmonized in the name of harmonization. So all of the things have to return back to that grassroots so that we can make the state work. So some of the things that I will do as governor of Lagos State, as local government chairman, if your road is not fixed, I will fix it for you. And I will deduct the money the same way we fix federal road and ask for refund thereafter. By so doing, we will quickly ramp up development in the state. So I am of autonomy, and it has to be real. Even if you want to do JAG, you must provide leadership. Leadership is the missing link here. All right, well, times have changed, really. Governor Jakonde of blessed memory came, and he did wonders under 4 years in terms of how policy of his government. I am sure that the level of technology at that time compared to what we have now, which means that if we truly made this do double of whatever it is he did while in office, and this time we can make use of the air. But first, let's look at where we are as we speak. We can't build 4 million, that deficit, in under 4 years or in 1 year. But what we can do is that we can look at what we have presently. Governor Fashola built Lagos homes, you know, everywhere. And since he left office, majority of those houses are stayed there unoccupied. I know of the one in Igbobo, the one in Igodo, and the likes. They're still there. So what we can do is to quickly find a way of unbundling our civil servants into it. You know, spread the payment for them, or the rent to own, or whatever it is, and you have them there. Then again, you can go into a JV between government and, you know, the private sector to say, you know what, I have land. You come and build and get you a guarantee. This money can't come back here. We want to do a rent to own, and we can spread it across. You are still in business. I get my house, my people, and we can also ask the informal sector to tap into this by way of having them to plug into it, and we use that to migrate them from that informal to formal, so that they can also be in the tax net of the state. In our blueprint, what we have is aquaculture. We don't have agriculture because of the peculiarity of our state. And what that means is that, let me give you the practical solution. In Ebe, in Badagry, in Ibeju, in Ojowe, and from all these riverine communities, you have fishermen regularly. So what we need to do as a government is to first ensure that we clean up the water for them. That's number one. Then number two, we encourage PPP to ensure we have storage in all of these places. I grew up in Mushi. I grew up to know what they call cool room. I don't know if any one of you understand a cool room. I don't know if there is any cool room anywhere now. Now, if the fishermen know that, look, there is a storage at this shore, they are ready to give you as many as possible for you to put in that storage. We will bring back that so that we can make Lagos a hub for these seafoods and all of that. We have, but first thing to do is to clean up our water. Our water is very, very dirty, and we can get that done. So if you are able to do that, and we encourage private sector to come and play in this economy in aquaculture, yes, we would have provided this. We have in Makoko, we have in Beju, Egbe, Badagry, all of these places that are there, just lying fallow, but we will resuscitate them and revive them. It's for us to take advantage of the megapolitan nature of the state of Lagos by making sure we turn it to a hub for film, music, and visual art. My Ebon has said it all. My running mate, one of the reasons why she's on board is for us to also look at this part of our economy that is actually doing well. And we are going to, as the government, make available the sum of 10 billion naira for that sector, so that players in that sector can, come and tap into it so that we can get it in the interim. Now, our long-term plan is to make sure that our 180-kilometer waterfront, we bring in private sector to come and give us a Miami-like waterfront in the state of Lagos. Yes, if you have that, and there is what we call mines in tourism, if you have a place for meeting, international conferences, exhibition, and everything, you see a lot of people coming in here to do business in this sector. So we have solution for that already. On a weekly basis, in all those restaurants that we mentioned, we'll be having small comedians to perform. And I'm sure when we win, Kwankulu will be playing in one of the restaurants. I think if I get your question very right, is in spite of this huge debt, how do we intend to turn around or to do everything that we have promised?
Yes.
Okay, yes, of course we know that Governor Sanwo-Olu alone has borrowed 284 billion in 3 years plus of his administration. As at the last quarter, Lagos local debt is 797 billion. Okay? If you put the external debt, that's where you come to 1.2, about 1.3 as a matter of fact. Now, what do we need to do? We need money to quickly come and do something. So when we get into office, if you are into real estate, it takes about 2 to 3 years before you can get a CFO out or paper approved for you to build. It's that bad. But we're going to adopt a method adopted by a governor in Southwest, Amoso, as a matter of fact, which says in 1 month, I'm going to give you your CFO, pay this amount of money, fixed rate. And if you do that, we'll get more money because 20% of over 6 million houses in Lagos are CFO. You can see the huge gap. If we get that, then there will be that paper with people who can use it to get loan from the bank, to finance a project, to do a whole lot. And if we're able to do that, the real estate economy will boom. The chain of jobs that you see, they will grow the economy, and we have more money to do. That is a low-hanging fruit for me as governor. So as I'm coming, I look at the backlog that we have. How do we fast track and quickly get people their papers and get money? Lagos has a problem. And I'm sure that problem is the monopoly. The monopoly that has eaten deep in all sectors of Lagos economy, politically, economy, and the likes. And the first thing to announce to the people of Lagos is to say, yes, now we have our independence, we have our freedom. And by so doing, the first thing to do is to do an order. I won't waste my time to do order for that particular one. I'll use just a word pronouncement. To use my very first order and put a stop to all forms of harassment from Agbero on our streets everywhere in Lagos. First thing to do. And take them off my road and return to where they belong. That's the first thing to do. And if you're asking for one thing, that's one thing. That first, can we have a breath of fresh air in the state of Lagos, everywhere we turn to? This one is one too many. Over 2 hours, I've sat here listening to plans that are sweet to the ears, which is a pointer to the fact that on this side of the hall, we have best brain who will do better than the placeholder we have in office as we speak. I would have loved a situation where all of us can collapse and form a formidable front to confront this hegemony. But because I've made an attempt, I've been to him to approach him. I've approached Bonfonso Duati. Talks is ongoing on this side because I know what is upon us is to see to the end of this dynasty that has held us at Jugula for over 2 decades. However, in the event that that would happen, I want to appeal to the people of Lagos. Let us give our vote to who can win. We need to win first. It's only when we win that we can form the cabinet. Let us win. We need to do everything to send this guy out of office, and we can. We can, and I believe I will, and God will help us. Thank you. Having done that, you will now see a Lagos that will work for the people of Lagos irrespective of where we are. We have so much wealth in this state, but that wealth is only on paper. It's not on the street of Lagos. We need to make our state a wealthy state in truth, as against a rich state only on paper.